As long as there is I, there is no Buddha. Xiefeng. The Diamond Sutra teaches. Subhoodie, if a bodhisattva holds on to notions of self, of others, of sentient beings, or of lifespan, then they are not a true bodhisattva. The notion of self is no true notion, notions of others, sentient beings, and lifespan are likewise false. To be free from all notions, this is what it means to be a Buddha. All dharmas are without self, without others, without sentient beings, without lifespan. A bodhisattva who fully realizes the truth of no self is what the Tathagata calls a true bodhisattva. Practicing all virtuous dharma without notions of self, others, sentient beings, or lifespan leads to Anattara-samyak-sambodhi, supreme, perfect enlightenment. The Buddha is not me, and I am not the Buddha. Where the I exists, the Buddha is absent. Where the Buddha is present, the I is gone. As long as the I remains, Buddhahood cannot be attained. The I is the greatest barrier on the path to awakening. If the I is not dissolved, the gate to enlightenment will remain closed. Let us observe how the I blocks the path to liberation. Each attachment below is a mountain standing in the way. I want to become a Buddha. I want to achieve glory for my country and people. I want to honor my ancestors and leave a lasting name. I want to contribute to humanity. I want to be rich. I must stay alert to avoid deception. I believe in the greatest creator, I believe in the Buddha Dharma, I believe in Christ, I believe in communism, I believe in theism, I believe in atheism. I think this is right, I think that is wrong, I think he walks a misguided path, I think he speaks the truth. This is mine, my country, my religion, my political party, my home, my parents, my children, my husband, my wife, my friend, my enemy. I am insignificant, I am great, I am humble, I am arrogant, I am deep, I am shallow, I am wealthy, I am poor, I have merit, I bear guilt, I am incapable, I am capable, I am right, I am wrong, I possess status, fame, wealth, knowledge, degrees, position. I am lowly, nameless, inferior, and ordinary. As long as the I dwells in the heart, the Buddha remains afar. Non-action, and nothing is left undone. Only by entering the realm of non-action can one act freely and without error. No self, yet the self is everywhere. Only by attaining no self can one encounter the true self, the Tathagata. Let go of the I, and the true self will arise. Cling to the I, and in the end, even the self is lost. One cannot become a Buddha while clinging to form. Xiefeng. The Diamond Sutra teaches. All forms are illusory. If one sees all forms as non-forms, one sees the Tathagata. These sentient beings should no longer hold notions of self, of personhood, of sentient beings, or of lifespan, not even the form of Dharma, nor the form of non-Dharma. Freedom from all forms, that is the state of the Buddhas. If one seeks me through form or through sound, one is walking a deviant path and will not see the Tathagata. Subhoodie, those who give rise to the aspiration for Anattara-samyak-sambodhi should perceive, understand, and believe in all dharmas in this way, without giving rise to attachment to any form of Dharma. What are forms? Everything seen by the eyes, heard by the ears, smelled by the nose, tasted by the tongue, or touched by the body, these are all forms. At the same time, anything that binds the mind, imprisons the soul, restricts human freedom, or obstructs the liberation of the spirit, such as morality, ideology, codes of conduct, religious doctrines, constitutions, laws, and taboos, these too are forms of Dharma. So long as one holds concepts or attachments to form, one cannot see the Tathagata, and thus cannot become a Buddha. What is the state of formlessness? It is a state of Hundun, primordial oneness and undifferentiated simplicity. Heaven is not heaven, earth is not earth, the two are indistinguishable. No above, no below, no direction or distinction. No edges, no corners, formless and shapeless. No large, no small, shape follows shape. No past, no future, without beginning or end. No coming, no going, no birth, no death, only eternity. No good, no evil, no truth, no falsehood, no beauty, no ugliness. No duality, no yin and yang, all merges into one. No love, no hate, no seeking, no abandoning, utter stillness. No gods, no Buddhas, no immortals, no humans. No animals, no insects, no bacteria, only structure. No heaven, no hell, no human world. No space, no time. No being, no non-being, only the living flow of the Tao. No rules, no systems, no constitutions, no laws. No doctrines, no rituals, no barriers, no taboos, only the living spirit. No sound, no voice, no inhaling, no exhaling, only resonance and response. All forms are illusions. To seek the Buddha through form is like trying to catch the moon in water, you will never grasp the truth. Only by letting go of all forms can one encounter the Buddha. To seek the Buddha through form is to walk a deviant path, one will not see the Tathagata, nor attain Buddhahood. Let us now examine the traps and mistaken paths on the way to seeking the Buddha. Building temples and monasteries, crafting Buddha statues, burning incense, prostrating, and wearing monastic robes, these are traps, this is the path of deviance. Establishing doctrines and regulations, constructing hierarchies and systems of control, these hinder the Dharma from reaching the people, this is a deviant path. Clinging to precepts and prescribed methods of practice, all are attachments to the form of Dharma, they are traps, and they deviate from the way. Sects, schools, and factions are traps, they lead one astray. To say that smoking, drinking, eating meat, or engaging in sex prevents one from becoming a Buddha, this too is attachment to form, it sets traps, shackles the mind, and is a deviant path. All dharmas are Buddha Dharma, and true Dharma is formless. Since the Tathagata speaks no Dharma, anyone who claims to teach the Dharma is, in truth, setting a trap and walking a deviant path. These words are spoken for those walking the supreme path. But what is called the supreme path is not supreme, it is merely a convenient term. What I have just said is neither right nor wrong. If you think what I say is right, then I have already set a trap for you, you are walking a deviant path. If you think I am wrong, you are also caught in a trap, you too are walking a deviant path. There are not merely 84,000 Dharma doors, there are infinite doors. If you cling to any door, you will find no door. If you reach the state of formlessness, then everywhere is a door, everything is a door. Formlessness is not a form of emptiness. If you cling to the notion of emptiness as form, you are still attached, you have merely fallen into another extreme, and have not yet reached true formlessness. Dharma has no fixed Dharma, no Dharma is true Dharma. Form has no fixed form, formlessness is true form. Inconceivable rewards. Xiefeng. The Diamond Sutra says. Subhuti, you should know. The words of this sutra are inconceivable. And its rewards are likewise inconceivable. It also says. Even if someone in future generations can uphold and recite this sutra, the merit they gain will surpass that of making offerings to all the Buddhas I have honored. By billions upon billions of times. Beyond calculation, beyond comparison, beyond description. And again. If a good man or woman upholds and recites this sutra, they will attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. The supreme, perfect enlightenment. The Buddha Shakyamuni also said. If someone hears this sutra and gives rise to faith without resistance, their merit will far exceed that of one who, over countless eons, gives away treasures as vast as the sands of the Ganges. The Diamond Sutra holds inconceivable, immeasurable, and boundless merit. If one can uphold it, recite it, and fully explain it to others, the Tathagata will surely know that person. And the merit they attain will be beyond all measure. Beyond words, beyond thought, without limit or end. Such a person will cultivate wisdom that is supreme and fully awakened. It can be said, even if we spend tens of millions of years laboring for the happiness of others and of society, it would still not compare to the merit gained by upholding, reciting, and explaining the Diamond Sutra. Why? Because this path not only leads to great wisdom that is supreme and fully awakened, but also to boundless, immeasurable, and inconceivable rewards. Is there a problem with this teaching? Is the Buddha deceiving us? Is it exaggeration? Is it just some kind of spiritual scare tactic? The Diamond Sutra is clear. These teachings are spoken for those who have given rise to the great aspiration. For those who walk the supreme path. If one delights in lesser teachings, they will not be able to uphold, recite, or explain this sutra. Why? Because those who cling to lesser paths cannot truly comprehend the meaning of the Diamond Sutra. Now we understand. To realize the meaning of the Diamond Sutra, intellectual reading is not enough. To stay on the surface is like standing in a heavy fog. You can't tell north from south. You must start from your heart. You must give rise to the great aspiration. You must walk the supreme path. Only then can the sutra truly reveal its meaning to you. So, what is the great aspiration? And what is the supreme aspiration? To abandon the self completely. And to devote yourself wholly to the liberation of all sentient beings. This is the great aspiration. This was the vow of Kitagarbha Bodhisattva and Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. Until the hells are empty, I will not become a Buddha. Such is the vow of the great aspiration. And to walk the way of the greatest Creator. The path of the primordial Tathagata Buddha. To guide all beings toward the realm of formless thinking. Into the state of Hundun thinking. This is the supreme aspiration. Those who give rise to either of these aspirations will naturally come to understand the Diamond Sutra. So then, what are inconceivable rewards? There's no way to fully explain them. Not even 3 days and nights would be enough. Do you wish to live as you wish, freely, effortlessly? You can. Just give rise to the great or supreme aspiration. And then uphold, recite, and explain the Diamond Sutra to others. Freedom will follow. Do you know the feeling of physical climax? If you truly comprehend the Diamond Sutra, the bliss you experience will be 1,000 times, even 10,000 times, more joyful and radiant than physical pleasure. I have felt it. That is beauty in its purest form. Do you wish to become a Buddha? Uphold, recite, and explain the Diamond Sutra. Its rewards are inconceivable. Do you wish to attain great wisdom, supreme and fully awakened? Uphold, recite, and explain the Diamond Sutra. Its rewards are inconceivable. Ah! It cannot be said. It is inconceivable. The greatest act of giving. Xiefeng. Supreme, fully awakened great wisdom is formless. Only through formless giving can one cultivate such wisdom. Therefore, the greatest act of giving is the giving that is formless. The Diamond Sutra teaches. A bodhisattva should give in this manner, without attachment to form. If a bodhisattva gives without attachment to form, the merit they acquire is beyond measure. How immeasurable is it? Even if someone were to offer all the 7 treasures from 3,000 great thousand worlds, their merit would indeed be vast. But if another person were to uphold, recite, and explain a 4-line verse from the Diamond Sutra, the merit they gain would far surpass that of the first. The Diamond Sutra also says, Subhuti, if a good man or good woman, in the early part of the day, offers their own body in giving, as many times as there are grains of sand in the Ganges river, and again at midday does the same, and again in the evening does the same, doing so across countless eons, such acts of self-sacrifice would still not equal the merit of one who hears this sutra and, with unwavering faith, accepts, upholds, recites, writes it down, and explains it to others. What the Buddha Shakyamuni meant is this. Even if we were to spend countless billions of eons offering all the treasures of the universe for virtuous deeds, the merit would still not equal that of someone who upholds, recites, and explains a 4-line verse from the Diamond Sutra to others. Why is this so? Because giving that is bound to form will eventually be exhausted. But formless giving is inexhaustible. Giving with form brings only temporary happiness. But formless giving bestows eternal life and everlasting joy. To give someone 1,000 coins is not as meaningful as giving them a sutra. To give a sutra is not as meaningful as helping them understand a profound truth. Rather than leaving behind material wealth for one's children, it is far better to pass on the principles of how to live, the essence of life, and the wisdom and skills to support themselves with dignity. Why pray to gods and Buddhas? If one's only wish is for wealth, fame, worldly success, and a house full of descendants, such desires are of a lower order. Instead, we should pray for wisdom, for the mystery of life, and for the visa that leads to the Elysium world. In the human world, the greatest givers have been Jesus and Shakyamuni Buddha. Next come Muhammad and Laozi. Their words are the wellspring of life, the visa to higher worlds. So, remember the Buddha's teaching. Uphold, recite, and explain the Diamond Sutra to others. By doing so, your merit and blessings will become inconceivable, beyond all measure. The day your merit is fulfilled is the day you become a celestial being or a Buddha. Saying, not, is. Xiefeng. The form of the body that is spoken of is not truly the form of the body, thus it is called the form of the body. The Anagamin, non-returner, is called one who does not return, yet in truth there is no not returning, thus it is called Anagamin. When one speaks of adorning the Buddha land, this is not true adornment, thus it is called adornment. When the Tathagata says the human body is great, it is not truly a great body, thus it is called great body. When the Buddha teaches Prajnaparamita, it is not truly Prajnaparamita, thus it is called Prajnaparamita. As for all the particles of dust, the Tathagata says they are not truly particles of dust, thus they are called particles of dust. The true form is that which is not a form, thus the Tathagata calls it true form. When the Tathagata speaks of the Supreme Paramitha, it is not truly the Supreme Paramitha, thus it is called Supreme Paramitha. Patience Paramitha, the Tathagata says it is not truly Patience Paramitha, thus it is called Patience Paramitha. When the Tathagata speaks of all minds, they are not truly minds, thus they are called minds. When the Tathagata speaks of a complete form body, it is not truly a complete form body, thus it is called complete form body. When the Tathagata speaks of the perfection of all forms, it is not truly perfection, thus it is called perfection of all forms. The one who speaks the Dharma has no Dharma that can be spoken, thus this is called speaking the Dharma. Sentient beings, the Tathagata says they are not truly sentient beings, thus they are called sentient beings. What is called good Dharma, the Tathagata says it is not truly good Dharma, thus it is called good Dharma. When the Tathagata speaks of self, it is not truly self, but ordinary people believe there is a self. Ordinary people are not truly ordinary people, thus they are called ordinary people. When the Tathagata speaks of the 3,000 great thousand worlds, these are not truly worlds, thus they are called worlds. When the Tathagata speaks of a composite form, it is not truly a composite form, thus it is called composite form. When the world-honored one speaks of self-view, view of others, view of sentient beings, view of lifespan, these are not truly such views, thus they are called self-view, view of others, view of sentient beings, view of lifespan. What is called Dharma form, the Tathagata says it is not truly Dharma form, thus it is called Dharma form. When first reading the Diamond Sutra, it feels as though one is moving through clouds and mist, unable to grasp what the old man Shakyamuni is trying to say. He affirms, then denies. He says, this is, then, this is not, and again, thus it is. This play of saying, not, thus it is takes great effort to understand. But unless one comprehends this, it is absolutely impossible to understand the Diamond Sutra. Let us now explore its meaning. In his article, Have You Awakened Yet?, Sangtian Celestial speaks of the relationship between dreamtime and waking time and writes, what we call reality is not truly reality, thus it is called reality. This is the Buddha's wisdom applied to the concept of reality, precise and profound. From within the dream, our waking reality is non-existent. From the flow of time, what we call reality is always changing, fleeting, impermanent. So, reality is not truly reality. Yet we must speak of this moment, this world, this state, so we borrow the term reality for the sake of communication. But the reality we name is not the real reality. If we mistake the label for the thing itself, we fall into delusion. Hence, what we call reality is not truly reality, thus it is called reality. Another example, Foshan Celestial. Foshan Celestial, this is not truly Foshan Celestial, thus it is called Foshan Celestial. Before the birth of Lifechanyuan, there was no such person by this name. But during the development of Lifechanyuan, such a person emerged. This person is not inherently Foshan Celestial, but to make communication easier, we temporarily gave them this name. This helps us understand the Buddha's teaching. What is called good Dharma, the Tathagata says it is not truly good Dharma, thus it is called good Dharma. What is good Dharma? In the universe, there is no such thing as fixed, good or evil. Yet we need to express these ideas, so we use names and terms like good Dharma. But if we rigidly cling to the belief that good Dharma is some absolute entity, we fall into extremes and create confusion and suffering. The true form is that which is not a form, thus the Tathagata calls it true form. Consider Penglai Celestial, a young girl. This is her current form. But in 100 years, will she still be here? Will this form still exist? No. So the true form is not truly a lasting form. Yet we still say, this girl is a form. This is the helplessness of language, a finger pointing to the moon, never the moon itself. To transcend all forms is to see the Buddhas. To realize that all forms are not true forms is to see the Tathagata. Through this realization, we come to understand that this form, this girl, is, in essence, the Tathagata, a Buddha. In this way, we gradually come to grasp the meaning of saying, not, thus it is in the Diamond Sutra. Of course, within the Buddha's words lie meanings within meanings. And even deeper meanings beyond those. But that is not the focus of this essay. The Sacred Buddha Stupa. Xiefeng. The world-honored one, Shakyamuni Buddha, taught. Subhuti, wherever this sutra is found, in any place, whether among devas, humans, or asuras, that place is worthy of offerings and reverence. You should know that such a place is a stupa, all should respectfully honor it, circumambulate it, and scatter flowers and incense upon it. What is the world-honored one's true meaning? First, the Buddha is telling us that the Diamond Sutra itself is a stupa. Wherever the Diamond Sutra is present, that place is a stupa. Whether among devas or humans, whether one enjoys heavenly blessings but lacks virtue, or possesses virtue but lacks blessings, all should approach with reverence. Circumambulate the Diamond Sutra or the place where it resides. Bow in homage, and adorn the surroundings with fragrant flowers and radiant gems. Second, the Buddha is saying that anyone who can memorize, uphold, and expound the Diamond Sutra is themselves a stupa. All sentient beings should honor such a person, praise them, and protect them with sincerity, kindness, beauty, and love. In accordance with the Buddha's teaching, we understand that the true stupa is the Diamond Sutra. Wherever the Diamond Sutra is found, be it a temple, a palace, a bookstore, a meeting hall, a courtyard, a study, or even a simple thatched hut, you should know that such a place is a stupa. Where there is no Diamond Sutra, there is no stupa. If a website were to publish the complete Diamond Sutra, that website too would become a stupa, and should be honored and praised as such. This is the visible stupa. But there is also an invisible stupa, the one within the heart. If someone has committed the Diamond Sutra fully to memory and holds it in their heart, then they have built a stupa within themselves. That person is a stupa. Lifechanyuan believes that anyone who sincerely seeks the Buddha must build this inner stupa. While external stupas are important, the internal stupa is even more essential. The Buddha taught, all forms are illusions. Thus, visible stupas are ultimately illusory. The true stupa is formless. We must build the stupa within our heart, and help those who sincerely seek the Buddha to do the same. Rather than exhausting resources to construct splendid, external stupas adorned in gold and jade. The Buddha also warned, if one sees me through form or seeks me through sound, that person walks the wrong path and cannot truly see the Tathagata. External stupas are forms. Only the stupa within the heart is formless. Only the formless stupa is the true stupa. To mold a statue from clay, plastic, porcelain, or metal, and then bow before it, burn incense, kowtow, chant mantras, beat drums. This is, in fact, walking the wrong path. To seek the Buddha, one must begin with understanding. Without clarity of the Dharma, how can one truly draw near to the Buddha? To attain Buddhahood, one must understand the Dharma, then venerate the Buddha with sincerity, and follow the way in practice. The Dharma contained in the Diamond Sutra embraces the totality of the universe and the myriad truths of the Great Way. If one builds the stupa within the heart, comprehends the meaning of the Diamond Sutra, and earnestly lives by its teachings, one will attain Buddhahood. And if one can also expound it to others, one is performing boundless merit, the fruits of which are beyond imagination. Supreme Buddhist Dharma, no self, no sutra. Xiefeng. After writing reflections on the Diamond Sutra, Hesheng Pozu, known as Master Trainer, on the forum, commented that Xiefeng, first does not understand self and second does not understand sutra. I now write this article as a personal reflection, in the hope that Hesheng Pozu may show compassion and help guide this beginner in wild Zen, who has yet to grasp the heights or depths of the way, to become a master. The Buddha's mind is formless, free from attachment to physical, mental, or dharma forms, wholly integrated, unmoving, and serene. If we read through the Diamond Sutra, its essence lies in revealing to us the supreme Buddhist Dharma, formless thinking and the formless state. How does the Buddha express this? He says that though he liberates countless sentient beings, in truth no beings are liberated. If a bodhisattva clings to the notions of self, of personhood, of sentient beings, or of lifespan, that one is not a true bodhisattva. A bodhisattva should give without attachment, not clinging to forms of sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, or thought. One cannot perceive the Tathagata by bodily form. There is no fixed form of Dharma, nor is there a fixed non-Dharma. One should not grasp at Dharma, nor at non-Dharma. The teachings I expound cannot be grasped, cannot be spoken, are neither Dharma nor non-Dharma. What I teach is merely a raft to cross the river, it is not the Dharma itself. What is called Buddhist Dharma is, in fact, not Buddhist Dharma. Thus we should cultivate a pure mind, not allowing it to dwell on visible forms, not on sound, not on scent or flavor, not on touch, nor on mental constructs or conceptual dharmas. Let the mind abide nowhere, and only then will true purity arise. When we are free from all appearances, we become Buddhas. The realization attained by the Tathagata is neither real nor unreal. All Dharma is Buddha Dharma. All Dharma is devoid of self, of person, of sentient being, and of lifespan. If anyone claims that I have taught Dharma or left behind some Dharma, that person slanders me and does not understand my teaching. I have attained nothing, therefore I have realized unsurpassed enlightenment. To seek the Buddha through appearances is to walk the wrong path. Dharma is neither emptiness nor reality, neither cessation nor annihilation, thus we must not cling to an appearance of emptiness. All Dharma is without self. The Tathagata neither comes nor goes. To pursue Dharma with conscious intention is like grasping at the reflection of the moon in water, a futile chase after illusions. The above is what Shakyamuni Buddha teaches us in the Diamond Sutra. According to his teachings, we can understand that the true Dharma is without self, and the true Dharma is without sutra. Have the great masters of the Buddhist world taught any actual Dharma? No, they would never claim, I have taught Dharma. Are the Buddhist scriptures themselves the Dharma? No, all the scriptures are not the Dharma itself. Then what are all these great masters and texts doing? Answer: helping us cross the river. By now, I hope you understand why the Buddha said his teachings are, for those who aspire to the great vehicle, for those who aspire to the supreme vehicle. The lesser vehicle clings to self, to form, and to scripture. The middle vehicle analyzes self, form, and scripture. The greater vehicle transcends self, form, and scripture. The supreme vehicle, on the far shore, shatters Buddha, shatters scripture. In this light, those who burn incense, bow, chant sutras are of the lesser vehicle. Those who expound sutras for others are of the middle vehicle. Those who teach Zen and insight are of the greater vehicle. Those who denounce Buddha and denounce sutras, having already fully realized the Dharma, are of the supreme vehicle. However, let this be a warning. To denounce Buddha and denounce sutras can only be done by one who has deeply understood and attained the Dharma. Ordinary people must never do this, else they incur grave karmic consequences, irredeemable through countless eons. By now you may begin to sense how vast and profound the Buddha's teachings are. They encompass the entire cosmos. Even one Diamond Sutra holds such depth that one could spend a lifetime studying it and still not exhaust its meaning. I only hope that some may understand what I am saying here. With this understanding, you may also begin to grasp the meaning of the Tao as taught in Laozi's Tao Te Ching. The Dharma and the Tao are not two, but one. All Dharma is Buddha Dharma. Xiefeng. What is Dharma? Dharma is the law and principle governing the operation and transformation of all things. It is the expression of the Tao is its essence, and Dharma is its extension. Tao and Dharma are inseparable. Without Dharma, there is no Tao, without Tao, there is no Dharma. In the Tao Te Ching, it is written, Heaven's net is vast, though its mesh is wide, nothing escapes. Here, the net refers to Dharma. Heaven's net is the outward manifestation of the Tao of the greatest creator, the universal law and order. The Dharma spoken of here is not magical techniques, sleight of hand, or military strategy. It is the Dharma of the Tao, the law that sustains the harmony and unity of the universe. Buddha Dharma is the Dharma of the Tao as revealed by the primordial Buddha Tathagata, the greatest creator. Therefore, all Dharma is Buddha Dharma. There is no Dharma outside of Buddha Dharma. What are the characteristics of Buddha Dharma? First, it is neither real nor unreal. You cannot see it with your eyes, hear it with your ears, smell it, taste it, or touch it. It is formless and without appearance, neither large nor small, silent and still, without boundary or structure. In this sense, it is unreal. Yet everything in the universe, including the evolution and unfolding of life, is precisely governed by it. From the reproduction of bacteria, changes in weather, shifts in human society and history, to the movements of the sun, moon, and galaxies, all follow this Dharma without deviation. In this sense, it is real. This is why Shakyamuni Buddha repeatedly reminded us. If one sees me in form or seeks me through sound, they walk a false path and cannot see the Tathagata. He also taught, develop a mind that abides nowhere. Second, Buddha Dharma is exact and flawless. It is utterly impartial, without deception or ambiguity. Before Dharma, one must be sincere and upright, there is no room for trickery or shortcuts. If we wish to become a Buddha, we must follow the path step by step. Outward appearances, grand rituals, or elaborate forms are useless. True sincerity arises from within, it cannot be performed. Third, Buddha Dharma has no fixed form. Though precise and rigorous, it is not static, it is alive. Dharma is ever-changing and boundless. Each moment and space has its own Dharma. The Dharma of one moment is not the Dharma of the next. Thus, the Buddha said, the past mind cannot be grasped, the present mind cannot be grasped, the future mind cannot be grasped. This is why he taught, Buddha Dharma is no Dharma. He also warned, if anyone says the Tathagata has teachings, they slander the Buddha and fail to understand my meaning. We are cautioned not to cling to any fixed Dharma. The Dharma he taught is like a raft, once you cross the river, let it go. Just as Newton's laws cease to apply in certain realms, and must be replaced by new principles, so must old Dharma be set aside when it no longer serves. The Buddha taught Dharma for decades, yet in the end claimed to have taught nothing. The mystery lies here. All Buddhist scriptures are skillful means, upaya. But skillful means does not mean random words. Teachings are adapted to each person's depth of Buddha nature. Just as one teaches primary school, high school, college, or graduate students differently, Dharma must be taught according to one's level. One method cannot apply to all. The Diamond Sutra is the highest Dharma, intended for those with deep cultivation, profound Buddha roots, and the aspiration to walk the supreme path. It is not for beginners. Teaching quantum physics to primary school students is pointless. Likewise, explaining the Diamond Sutra to those in the lesser or middle vehicles is like playing music to a cow. Laozi once said, those with the highest cultivation hear the Tao and walk it with resolve. Those with average cultivation waver between belief and doubt. Those with little cultivation laugh at it. Without laughter, it would not be the Tao. When I, Xiefeng, speak on Buddha Dharma, those of the great vehicles say, wonderful. Those of the middle vehicles say, a distortion of the scriptures. Those of the lesser vehicles say, nonsense. To understand the subtlety of Buddha Dharma, one must rely on spiritual intuition and inner resonance, not dead doctrines. If the Tathagata, the greatest creator, does not live in your heart, even 10,000 years of study will not unveil its mystery. Therefore, to study Buddha Dharma, begin by correcting your heart. All Dharma is Buddha Dharma. And what is called Buddha Dharma is, in truth, no Dharma at all. Shakyamuni revealed the whole essence of Dharma, yet in the end, he said nothing. There is no shortcut to becoming a Buddha. Xiefeng. The journey of the Great Way begins from the tiniest trace, takes shape through daily effort, and is fulfilled through subtle refinement. Yet it has no shortcut. Plants grow with sunlight, nutrients, and the nourishment of rain. One cannot skip steps or force their growth by pulling them up, such haste brings harm, not life. The sun and moon move with flawless precision, strictly following their paths. To seek a shortcut in such motion would lead only to destruction. Pregnancy spans 10 months by nature's law. To force a premature birth at 5 months would produce nothing but a malformed child. There are shortcuts for stealing and cheating. For deception and manipulation. For covering the sky with one hand. For bribery and corruption. For crooked schemes. For overnight wealth. For opportunism and backdoor dealings. For falsifying appearances. In politics, business, warfare, romance, and gambling, shortcuts abound. But there is no shortcut to climbing the mountain of science. And even less so to becoming a celestial being or a Buddha. Practice requires effort in every word and deed. Cultivation requires effort in every thought and intention. With daily diligence, saplings grow into forests. Grains of sand become a pagoda. Gathered feathers make a warm coat. When merit accumulates over time, realization comes naturally. If one abandons steady effort in search of clever techniques, the heart has already fallen into illusion. And the feet have already stepped onto a deviated path. Those who truly seek the way never seek shortcuts. Even in worldly pursuits, wealth, position, or reputation. A person of integrity will never chase tricks or cunning. All who seek shortcuts are not sincere. Only those harboring hidden agendas or unwholesome intent pursue such paths. The farthest path may bring you closest to the goal. The nearest path may leave you furthest away. There is no shortcut to becoming a Buddha. If anyone claims there is, they are shallow in merit and virtue. They slander the Dharma. They are on the path of delusion. Without the accumulation of small steps, one cannot travel 1,000 miles. Without the joining of small streams, one cannot form a great river. Let those who aspire to Buddhahood give up the search for shortcuts. And instead root themselves in steady effort. Starting from the smallest acts and thoughts. All saints and sages differ only in their mastery of the way of non-action. Xiefeng. What is the way of non-action, Wu Wei? To understand it, we must first understand the way of action, Yu Wei. Whenever one uses personal will to define, interpret, or impose meaning on the world, and takes those definitions as standards for thought and behavior, that is the way of action. The Buddha said, all conditioned phenomena are like dreams, illusions, bubbles, and shadows, like dew, or a flash of lightning. One should view them in this way. The way of action is fleeting, like mist and lightning, ever-changing and illusory. To chase such transient things with a short human life is like trying to catch a dream. In the end, one is left with nothing. Out of great compassion, the Buddha sought to keep us from falling into illusion. In the end, he told us that he had said nothing, that he had not taught any fixed dharma. What he offered were but rafts to cross from one state to another, bridges for inner transformation. Where did he want us to go? Into the way of non-action. He said, all saints and sages differ only in their mastery of the way of non-action. So what is the way of non-action? The Dharma taught by the Tathagata cannot be grasped, cannot be spoken, it is not Dharma, nor is it not Dharma. This is the way of non-action. Once a teaching can be grasped or spoken, it becomes the way of action. A true master frees the soul, never binds it. The true quality of a saint or sage lies in how much they help others break through inner barriers and dissolve shackles. This is the difference among saints and sages, the depth of their realization of the way of non-action. At Vulture Peak, the Buddha spoke and spoke, yet in the end felt that words could never fully express the truth. Then he turned to Chan, Zen. No reliance on words or letters, direct pointing to the human mind. Rather than describing the world's beauty to the blind, it is better to heal their eyes so they may see directly. Jesus said, if your eye is clear, your whole body will be full of light, but if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. Lao Tzu said, Thus, the sage engages in non-action and teaches without words. This line was later revised in my dialogue with Lao Tzu to, thus, the Tao engages in non-action and teaches without words. He also said, those who walk the way are subtle and profound, beyond comprehension. The sage embraces the One and becomes a model for the world. Indeed, the entire Tao Te Ching may be seen as a revelation of the way of non-action. The sixth patriarch Huineng said, all Dharma is inseparable from one's true nature. The true nature is originally pure, complete, unborn, and unmoving. It gives rise to all Dharma. If one does not recognize their original mind, Dharma is useless. But if one realizes the true mind and sees the true nature, they are a true person, a teacher of Deva, a Buddha. All saints and sages dwell at different levels. The cause of these differences lies in their understanding and application of the way of non-action. Is it right to teach people to be good? Hard to say. Thus, Lifechanyuan neither teaches people to be good, nor to be bad. It embraces the One and follows the Tao. Is it right to teach people not to eat meat or avoid sensual desire? Hard to say. Is it right to teach them to eat meat and pursue desire? Also hard to say. It cannot be said. As Lifechanyuan Celestial once said, to cling to non-attachment is still attachment. This is where the mystery lies. Formless thinking is the clearest expression of the way of non-action. The difference among saints and sages lies in the level of formless thinking they have attained. Formless Giving, a Life of Wisdom. Provided by Pusa Celestial. Xiefeng. Formless giving means giving without the notion of a giver, a recipient, or a gift. Naturally, it also means holding no thought of reward. Only when giving is free of all three concepts, giver, receiver, and gift, can it become true merit, boundless and pure. Years ago, China National Radio broadcast a story that illustrates this principle. A couple once rescued a stray puppy from the snow. Seeing it had no home, they brought it in and raised it. Because it was found in the snow, they named it Snowy. Over time, the dog grew close to the couple. Every day at the time the husband got off work, Snowy would go to the station to greet him. Neighbors affectionately called it the living clock. One night, a thief broke into the house. Snowy barked and bit the intruder. Afterward, the couple learned that the man had turned to theft out of desperation. His mother was seriously ill, and he had no money for medicine. Because his action arose from filial piety, the husband forgave him. Not only that, he even gave him food and supplies to take home. Time passed, and the incident was forgotten. But life is unpredictable. One day, there was an explosion at the factory where the husband worked, and he was killed. With no income, the wife fell into poverty. She borrowed from friends and relatives, but over time, they all avoided her. The family sank into hardship. Then one day, a man arrived from the countryside, bringing a sheep, vegetables, firewood, rice, oil, and salt, all for the widow. It turned out to be the same man who had once been the thief. Grateful for the kindness shown to him, he now saw a chance to repay it. From that day on, he regularly brought food and essentials for several years, helping the widow survive. The woman reflected, when my husband was alive, our home was full of visitors. After he died, they all disappeared. But the one we once helped without seeking anything in return is now the one who supports me most. She sighed, you may carefully plant flowers and see no blooms, yet plant a willow by chance and find it gives shade. This is formless giving. A kindness offered without seeking reward. Giving for the sake of fame, profit, avoiding bad karma, or gaining health and blessings is called giving with form. Such giving carries only limited merit. But giving that is done solely for the benefit of others, with no concern for gain or loss, and no thought of return, is formless giving. The merit of formless giving is infinite. The Diamond Sutra says, give without attachment to form, sound, scent, taste, touch, or thought. In daily life, whether speaking, acting, eating, or dressing, if we keep compassion in our hearts, we can benefit others and bring blessings to the world. But we must not cling to distinctions between self and others, or measure the amount we give. Only formless giving accords with the wisdom of the Diamond Sutra. Only then does giving become truly vast. Giving with form limits merit. Liberating beings with attachment to self cannot give rise to true compassion. Only a mind free of self can open the way to liberate all beings. The Diamond Sutra also says, thus shall you tame your mind. Of all sentient beings, whether born of eggs, wombs, moisture, or transformation, with form or without form, with perception, without perception, or neither with nor without perception, I shall lead them all to final nirvana, where no being remains. Sentient beings are countless and of many kinds. To liberate them is not simply to give them food or clothing. Material aid is limited and fleeting. True liberation means helping all beings enter nirvana and be free from the cycle of birth and death. To do this, one must give without seeing beings to be saved, without duality, without attachment. Only then is it true liberation. The Diamond Sutra continues. Though countless beings are liberated, in truth no being is liberated. Why? Because a bodhisattva must be free of the notion of self, others, sentient beings, and lifespan, only then is the mind truly pure and the liberation genuine. To save beings, we must develop a vast, non-dual, supreme, and undiluted mind. Only through the spirit of selflessness can we give rise to the great vow to liberate all beings. According to the Diamond Sutra, it is only by liberating others without self that one aligns with prajna wisdom and realizes the emptiness of all phenomena. Bodhisattvas and Buddhas. Xiefeng. The 8 characteristics of a Buddha. Only divine nature, free of acquired disposition, habitual tendencies, human, animal, material, or ghostly nature. Comes from nowhere, goes to nowhere, hundunic and whole, unmoving in suchness. Formless and unattached, no concept of self, of others, of sentient beings, of lifespan, clings neither to form nor to formlessness. Nature is crystal clear, empty and unified, manifests in countless transformations, wisdom boundless and inexhaustible. Neither real nor illusory, neither void nor form, neither defiled nor pure, beyond honor and disgrace, fear and dread, hindrance and barrier. Mind abides nowhere, yet is not apart from any place. The Dharma body pervades all realms, its merit immeasurable. Without shape or appearance, radiates compassion as light, ever mindful of all beings, ferrying them with the Dharma vessel. Possesses the Dharma eye and the Buddha eye, perceiving all of time and space. The 8 characteristics of a bodhisattva. Transcends the mundane, embodies purified human nature. Vows to walk the supreme path, ever holds all beings in heart. Rescues the suffering, seeks no merit, reward, or return. Bestows the Buddha's wisdom freely, delivers all with karmic affinity. Gives without form or attachment, untouched by sound, color, scent, taste, or touch. Rooted in the formless, fully realizes the Dharma of no self. Filled with compassion, gives selflessly to nourish and uplift life. Faith pure and unwavering, reveres only the primordial Buddha as the supreme guide. The 3 verses of Shinshyo, Huineng, and Hundun Baby, their distinctions and realms. Xiefeng. The 5th patriarch of Chan Buddhism, Hongren, once sought to pass on the robe and the Dharma, the way, or true path of awakening. He said, life and death are the great matter. Yet most people chase after blessings and fortune, never seeking to transcend the sea of suffering. If your true nature remains lost, what good are merits? Now each of you, look within. Draw from your innate wisdom. Compose a verse that reflects the light of your true nature. Show me. If you grasp the essence, the robe and the Dharma shall be yours as the sixth patriarch. Shinshio, the senior disciple closest to the patriarch, offered this verse. The body is the Bodhi tree. The mind a mirror bright. Constantly wipe it clean. Let no dust alight. In the rear courtyard, quietly splitting wood and pounding rice, Huineng also composed a verse. Bodhi is not a tree. Nor is the mirror a stand. Originally there is not one thing. Where then can dust land? 2,000 years later, Hundun Baby offered this verse. The heart holds the Bodhi tree. The spirit is the mirror bright. All things arise through illusion and transformation. With clarity of true nature, one transcends the dust of the mortal world. These three verses arise from different perspectives and reveal distinct views of the world. Shinshio speaks from the perspective of practice and cultivation, how to illuminate the mind and perceive one's true nature. Huineng points directly to the essence of true nature itself. Hundun Baby speaks of how, through practice and cultivation, one ultimately realizes true nature and attains Buddhahood. Shinshio emphasizes the material world. Huineng focuses on the non-material world. Hundun Baby connects the material and non-material worlds. The meaning of Shinshio's verse is this: one's true nature is the spiritual mountain. If the mind, like a bright mirror, constantly reflects true nature and one diligently nurtures the spirit, remaining unconfused by external phenomena, one can ultimately attain Buddhahood. Huineng's verse means that the universe is fundamentally empty. The material world does not truly exist. If one becomes entangled in appearances and concepts, it is difficult to illuminate the mind and perceive true nature, and even harder to attain supreme wisdom. Hundun Baby's verse means that the spiritual mountain resides in the heart, and through spiritual awareness and resonance, one perceives that all phenomena arise from the transformations of the universe's fundamental nature. Only by understanding this nature can one transcend the delusions of countless material phenomena and reach the shore of true nature, ultimately attaining Buddhahood. In my view, Shinshio's verse represents initial awakening, beneficial for guiding the masses in practice and cultivation. Huineng's verse represents complete awakening, helpful for masters in transforming their thinking. Hundun Baby's verse represents transcendental awakening, helpful for opening the door of spiritual awareness. If one cultivates according to Shinshio's method, the path is long and gradual. If one cultivates according to Huineng's method, it is easy to fall into passive emptiness. If one cultivates according to Hundun Baby's method, one can swiftly progress toward the other shore while joyfully experiencing life. The most perfect approach is to integrate and repeatedly verify all three verses together. The greatest is Shinshio, for he laid the foundation. The most sublime is Huineng, for he stood in the Elysium world. The most exceptional is Hundun Baby, for he built a ladder between the foundation and supreme bliss. One who truly understands and can elucidate these meanings is Qiankuan Buddha of Lifechanyuan. A shortcut to Buddhahood, illuminating the mind and perceiving true nature. Xiefeng. 2,000 years ago, a journey of 10,000 miles would take at least 100 days. Today, the same distance can be covered in just one. 200 years ago, delivering a message to a loved one 100 miles away would require at least 2 days. Today, a text message reaches them in the blink of an eye. In the past, attaining Buddhahood required discipline in precepts, deep meditation, and wisdom, often taking 10 or even dozens of years of meditation and cultivation. Today, there is no need for such prolonged effort. If one can illuminate the mind and perceive true nature, Buddhahood may be realized overnight. Responding to the needs of the times, this is the arrangement of the Tao, and also the necessity of a rapid spiritual harvest. The key to Buddhahood lies in illuminating the mind and perceiving true nature. What is mind in this context? This mind is not the physiological organ of flesh, but the rise of thoughts and perceptions triggered by the interactions of the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and consciousness with the external world, both material and non-material. This mind arises due to conditions. Without conditions, it does not arise. Like waves on a calm lake, they emerge with the wind and subside without it. If the six faculties perceive nothing, then this mind does not manifest. Thus, mind is not located in the brain, the heart, or anywhere specific within the body, rather, it resides in the operational structure of the non-material essence of life. Understanding this truth is called illuminating the mind. What is nature in this context? This nature is the gateway to all mysteries, Tathagata, the primordial Hundun, the non-material structure of life, the Buddha, the consciousness of the greatest creator, the fundamental law of the cosmos, and the principle that governs the evolution of all life. All things possess nature. Mountains have mountain nature. Water has water nature. Beasts have beast nature. Humans have human nature. Men have masculine nature. Women have feminine nature. Immortals have immortal nature. Buddhas have Buddha nature. The 36 dimensions of the universe each possess their own intrinsic nature. Without nature, there is no universe. Without nature, there is no life. Understanding this intrinsic quality is called perceiving true nature. What does it mean to illuminate the mind and perceive true nature? To illuminate the mind is the prerequisite for perceiving true nature. If the mind is clouded, the nature cannot be seen. Thus, illuminating the mind and perceiving true nature. It is like entering a dark room, nothing is visible. Once you turn on the light, everything becomes clear. That moment of illumination is illuminating the mind. Seeing everything clearly is perceiving true nature. Or consider 3 glasses of liquid, one salty, one sweet, one bitter. Without prior knowledge, one might mistake them for plain water. Upon tasting, the distinct characteristics are revealed. The moment of realization is illuminating the mind, discerning their nature is perceiving true nature. Without illumination, one is an ordinary being. With illumination, one becomes a saint. Without perceiving nature, one remains blind, an ignorant person, a worldly person, a mortal, or at most a sage. With true perception, one becomes a celestial being, a Buddha. If you remain confused about life and its purpose, you have yet to illuminate the mind and perceive true nature. If we clearly understand the meaning of life and the mysteries of life's evolution, it proves we have already illuminated the mind and perceived our true nature. In other words, we have already become Buddhas. According to Lifechanyuan teachings, this means we have returned to Yuan Shu, the original awakened state aligned with the consciousness of the greatest creator. The best method for illuminating the mind is that which Shakyamuni Buddha taught. Let the mind arise without dwelling. Do not let it arise from form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or thought. Let it arise from nowhere. This is the state of no mind. In the state of no mind, true nature is revealed. The Heart Sutra also supports this realization. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, while practicing deeply the Prajna Paramitha, perceived that all 5 skandhas are empty, and thus was saved from all suffering and distress. Sariputra, form does not differ from emptiness, and emptiness does not differ from form. Form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. The same is true of feelings, perceptions, impulses, and consciousness. Sariputra, all dharmas are marked with emptiness, they are neither born nor destroyed, neither defiled nor pure, neither increasing nor decreasing. Therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no perception, no impulse, no consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no color, sound, smell, taste, touch, or object of mind, no realm of the eyes, until no realm of mind consciousness. No ignorance and also no extinction of it, until no old age and death, and also no extinction of them. No suffering, no origination, no stopping, no path. No cognition, also no attainment. With nothing to attain, the bodhisattva depends on prajnaparamita and the mind is no hindrance. Without any hindrance, no fears exist. Far apart from every inverted view, one dwells in nirvana. All Buddhas of the past, present, and future depend on prajnaparamita and attain anattarasamyaksambodhi. Therefore, know that prajnaparamita is the great miraculous mantra, the great bright mantra, the supreme mantra, the incomparable mantra. It removes all suffering and is true, not false. Therefore, utter the prajnaparamita mantra. Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Svaha. I also recommend reading The Fundamental Melody of Life, Part 4, by Lifechanyuan Buddha in the Chanyuan Master series. It, too, leads to perceiving true nature. May those with affinity who read this soon attain Buddhahood. The Buddha's final teachings before nirvana is a fabrication. Xiefeng. April 10, 2011. I had not slept for 18 hours and was just about to go to bed when I stopped by Lifechanyuan's website, formerly known as Lifechanyuan, the Dharma vessel. There, I noticed an article titled The Buddha's Final Teachings Before Nirvana. I had come across it before but hadn't paid much attention. This time, since it had been posted on the Lifechanyuan site, I decided to read it carefully, only to discover that it's a fabricated text compiled by later followers. To be fair, much of its content is accurate, many parts were indeed spoken by Shakyamuni Buddha himself. However, presenting this article as the Buddha's final teachings before nirvana is misleading. I understand the good intentions and compassion of those who compiled it, but unfortunately, doing so diminishes the Buddha's wisdom, confuses later generations of Dharma seekers, and provides a convenient loophole for those who fabricate false sutras. For example, the article includes the following exchange. Ananda asks. First, while the Buddha was among us, we followed him as our teacher. After the Buddha enters nirvana, whom should we follow as our teacher? And the Buddha is said to reply. Take the precepts as your teacher. This is problematic. A teacher is a guide, a living navigator. Precepts are rules, static and lifeless. The dead cannot guide the living. From this alone, it's clear that the Buddha's final teachings before nirvana is not authentic. Another example, Ananda asks. Fourth, while the Buddha was present, people easily developed faith in the teachings. After the Buddha enters nirvana, how can people have faith in the scriptures? The answer given is. Each scripture should begin with the words, "Thus have I heard." Frankly, that's laughable. Would the supremely wise Buddha not foresee that such a formula would open the floodgates for forgery? If all someone has to do is begin a text with, "Thus have I heard," anyone could make up a fake sutra and pass it off as the real thing. And then there's this. The article describes the Buddha passing peacefully into nirvana, calmly answering questions, completely unwearied. But according to historical records, the Buddha died after accidentally eating poisonous mushrooms. That version is closer to reality. The Buddha didn't just float off into nirvana after a Q&A session looking serene and untired. The truth is, the greatest figure in human history is Jesus Christ, the wisest is Shakyamuni Buddha. That's an undeniable fact. But over the centuries, people have distorted the truth, over-deifying Christ and the Buddha, making it harder for others to feel close to them. Ironically, the more sacred we make them, the more distant they become. Let me put it this way. If one day I, Xiefeng, were to become a revered figure, and my admirers said, "While teaching us, the guide once passed gas, and it smelled divinely fragrant," what would you think? Isn't that a total distortion of reality? On the path of practice and cultivation, we must respect the truth. We must not exaggerate it, nor diminish it. If something is true, say it's true. If it isn't, say it isn't. Otherwise, we're bound to mislead people and send them down the wrong path. Transcend time and space, step into the Buddha realm. Xiefeng. March 2, 2014. Tribulation is demonic trial. Without passing through it, there is no entry into the Buddha land. We have built a pure land in the human world, yet it too has been tested by demons. We've begged and pleaded, but the trials remain. This is the end time, the age of demons. Seeking help is useless. Better to rely on oneself than on others. Better still, become a Buddha. Putting hope in anyone else is futile. If you wish to escape the sea of suffering, you must become a Buddha yourself. If you cannot, forget about saving others, even your loved ones. Without Buddhahood, you're just a clay Buddha crossing a river, unable even to save yourself. Only by becoming a Buddha can one hope to save others. This world is filled with traps and tests. So long as you're entangled in the mortal realm, you cannot escape its snares and demonic trials. It's as if you're surrounded by countless soldiers, or tossed about in a boundless stormy sea. Only by attaining Buddhahood where you stand can you rise above it all and step into the Buddha realm. Desire knows no end. The human heart is never satisfied. Selfish cravings are a bottomless pit. Reincarnation spins on without pause. Few awaken, and even fewer repent. Let them keep turning in the cycle. We withdraw from the world and fix our hearts solely on enlightenment. The Buddha realm holds no self. Where self exists, there is no Buddha realm. Whatever ties you to me or mine belongs to the mortal world. Fleeting illusion, empty dream, foam on the sea. Not worth sorrow. The realm of Buddha is desireless. It is a state of emptiness, spirit, and grace. It holds nothing, thus, there is no attachment, no anxiety, no fear, no grief. To awaken the mind and see one's true nature, that is Buddhahood. Buddha is nature, not mind. Mind gives rise to trouble. Living by true nature is Bodhi. When nature shines fully, it lights up the entire cosmos. There is no past, no present, no future. What is before you is the future. Your state right now is your future state. So, no need to worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow is already here. No need to fear death or cling to life. Life is death, and death is life. Without self, the world's praise or slander drifts past like clouds. You call me evil, heretical. You are correct. This is the Dharma ending age, everything is inverted. Right becomes wrong, wrong becomes right. The living are dead, the dead are alive. What rises will fall, what falls will rise. Laughter hides tears, and tears conceal joy. The disgraced will be honored. The honored will fall in shame. Those now suffering will be blessed. Those now basking in riches will face ruin. Life is not the body, it is consciousness. The body may be imprisoned or destroyed. But consciousness cannot be locked up or killed. A Buddha is an awareness body radiant with the perfect light of nature. It can leave the body and enter the boundless realm of bliss. When the true nature is unblocked, nothing can obstruct it. If your path is blocked and your body trapped, become a Buddha. If there's no food and hunger gnaws, become a Buddha. If things fall apart, hand them over to the Tao, and become a Buddha. If someone is on your mind but you cannot see them, don't be anxious. Each has their own life trajectory. No one bears another's karma. Let things be as they are. Every present condition is the fruit of past causes. No need to cling or fret. The Buddha realm is the blissful world. No ranks, no right or wrong, no rulers, no oppression, no sorrow, no worry. It is true freedom. The Buddha realm is emptiness, zero state. From the interplay of consciousness, structure, and energy arises infinite vitality. Thus, paradise manifests everywhere, an oasis beyond worldly illusion. Every moment can overflow with bliss. It is endless beauty, boundless wonder. If we do not transcend time and space, we'll be trapped in our present trials, lost in anxiety. If we do not transcend the mundane world, we will remain entangled in worldly passions and trivial affairs, and never reach the other shore. What we see, hear, smell, taste, and touch is but fleeting illusion, shifting bubbles that do not last. So we must rely on spiritual awareness. Only what is known through spirit endures. Let us transcend time and space, and step into the Buddha realm. Having thoughts is a crime under totalitarian rule. Xiefeng. July 16, 2025. If you have committed no crime, yet the rulers still monitor you day and night, or even imprison you, then congratulations, you are a true human being in the fullest sense. Under totalitarian rule, the moment you begin to pursue a beautiful life, the moment you form your own views and independent thoughts, you are guilty. The regime will move quickly to control you, fearing that you may become someone it can no longer restrain. If your life remains calm under totalitarian rule, though your stomach is empty and your days are bitter, and the authorities turn a blind eye to you, it means you have no thoughts, no aspirations. You are merely a shell, a body without spirit. This is easy to understand. Imagine raising a group of pigs and dogs. One day, some of them begin to form their own ideas and develop goals of their own. You would feel uneasy. You would worry, will they become human? Will they challenge your authority? In such a case, it is not hard to understand why you might harbor the urge to eliminate the disobedient ones. In the eyes of a totalitarian ruler, the people are expected to be pigs and dogs, without mind, without spirit, without purpose. A pig that doesn't want to be a pig is not a good pig. A dog that doesn't want to be a dog is not a good dog. If any pig or dog begins to speak differently or act unusually, immediate control measures are put in place, around-the-clock surveillance, instant arrest at the first sign of deviation. And when necessary, the order is simple: eliminate without mercy. Thus it becomes clear. Under totalitarian rule, those who are monitored, suppressed, arrested, or persecuted are people, true human beings. And those favored, praised, and protected by the regime are, for the most part, pigs and dogs, those who have been fully tamed. A few national sage-level figures worth recommending. Xiefeng. July 16, 2025. First, let me make this clear: the individuals I am about to recommend as national sage-level figures are based solely on my impressions from listening to their online talks. I know nothing about their personal backgrounds or how they conduct themselves in daily life. Please use your own discernment to judge their authenticity. In my view, these individuals possess the wisdom and depth needed to guide people in life. Their thinking is sharp and clear. Their analyses of history and current affairs align with objective reality and serve the interests and well-being of the broader public. Listening to their talks is not only thought-provoking but also lays a solid foundation for objective and rational thinking. Recognizing these individuals as national sage-level figures, in my opinion, would benefit the Chinese people and contribute to the long-term welfare of society. They are Yang Peng, Bao Pingshan, Jin Zhong, Yishir Guanlan, and Wen Zhao. Human adaptability and inertia. Xiefeng. July 16, 2025. The following reflections are based solely on my personal experience and insights. Whether they hold any universal truth is for each person to judge according to their own understanding. Once you've seen the vast ocean, no other waters will suffice. Once you've glimpsed the clouds of Mount Wu, no others can compare. After living in the second home of Lifechanyuan, I lost all interest in any other form of life. The inertia that followed was this: I no longer wished to create anything more beautiful than the second home. My pursuit of a better life became completely enclosed within that experience. If I could live there for the rest of my days, that alone would be blessing enough. My life would be full. I lived in Harare for over 10 years, and to this day, I still believe it offers the most ideal climate on earth. I never once felt hot or cold, only sunshine, birdsong, and blooming flowers all year round. It felt as if the climate belonged to the thousand-year world. 17 years have passed, but my heart still longs for Harare. I would return in a heartbeat. After more than a year living at the lakeside retreat of Anaheim Lake, I found myself suddenly sensitive to heat. Yesterday, the temperature reached 25 degrees Celsius, only the second time this summer it's done so. Thankfully, the forecast shows cooler days ahead, hovering around 20 degrees Celsius. If it were 25 degrees Celsius every day, I think I'd struggle to endure it. Human beings are astonishingly adaptable. I remember living on a small island in Vanuatu, where the heat was oppressive. I spent nearly every day in the streams or rivers. Eventually, I developed an attachment to those waters. When I later scouted a location for the second home in Vanuatu, I looked only along riverbanks. I wanted my brothers and sisters to enjoy that same refuge in the water. We finally gave up a potential site where the river was less than 2 meters below the land, fearing that heavy rains might cause it to flood the base. I was born in a village at the confluence of the Yellow River and the Daxia River. As a child, I longed for life in the city. Later, I lived in Beijing, Lanzhou, and Kunming, and quickly adapted to urban conveniences. I even came to view the countryside as backward and remote. But after more than a decade living in the second home, especially in this retreat-like place, watching birds fly across the sky, and fish, ducks, and swans swimming in the lake, I now feel that life in the city is a kind of loss. So noisy. So rushed. You can't even see a bird in the sky or a fish in the water. What is the point of such a life? To live in harmony with mountains, rivers, and nature, that is the true rhythm and joy of life. Once a person has tasted complete freedom, to live in constraint feels like imprisonment. But if one stays too long in an unfree environment, freedom itself can begin to feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. When no one is there to oppress, insult, or bully them, some feel strangely ill at ease. And so we witness a peculiar phenomenon. People whose lives lack security and dignity still sing songs like "My Great and Powerful Country" and "We Are Far Ahead," celebrating in the mud, feeling blessed behind bars. 16 Problems Humanity Cannot Solve. Xiefeng. July 18, 2025. For thousands of years, humanity has failed to resolve the following 16 chronic afflictions. The arbitrariness of power. The corruption of officials. The selfishness of human nature. The greed of the heart. Unrestrained sexual desire. Discrimination between kin and strangers. The suffering of disease and war. Class conflict. The persistence of theft. The bondage of marriage. Family discord. Gambling and speculation. Territorial disputes. The widening gap between rich and poor. The rise of tyrants. The lack of freedom to migrate. Who can heal these 16 deep-rooted ills that block humanity's path to true civilization? Do not look back into history searching for someone who has solved them. You will not find such a person. Who dares to claim both the courage and wisdom to resolve all 16? Only the way of the greatest creator, only the path of Lifechanyuan, can bring resolution to these problems. A practitioner does not kneel, does not become a slave. Xiefeng. July 21, 2025. Why do we practice? We practice in order to elevate the level of our life. A slave practices in order to no longer be a slave, to live with human dignity. A human practices to break free from the cycle of reincarnation in the lower life spaces, to escape the boundless sea of suffering, and to become an immortal or a Buddha, journeying toward the celestial paradise. Practice is about escaping environments of suffering. It's about breaking free from control and bondage. It's about no longer kneeling before slave masters and rulers. It is about breaking through the realm of necessity and entering the kingdom of freedom. To practice is to cast off all chains and ultimately head toward the Elysium world and the celestial islands continent. If the flesh binds me, I abandon the flesh. If friends bind me, I let go of friendship. If family binds me, I am no longer family. If experts and professors bind me, I treat them like chamber pots. If masters and guides bind me, then to hell with your so-called masters and guides. If the state binds me, what use do I have for your state? If the government binds me, go to hell with your damn authority. A true practitioner submits only to the Buddha, to the greatest creator, to the Tao, and to the laws of the universe, not to any human. The only justification for a government's existence is to serve the people, not to shackle them. So why are you binding the people? Everything can be done in accordance with the Constitution and the law. How simple that would be. For the people, what is not forbidden by law is permitted. For the government, what is not authorized by law is forbidden. When governments ignore the Constitution and the law, and instead oppress people at will, what use is such a government? It is not only useless, it becomes a machine of suffering, injustice, and tragedy. To kneel before such a government is to voluntarily become a slave. Practitioners do not kneel. Practitioners do not become slaves. If I do not kneel and do not become a slave, what can you do to me? At most, detain me, torture me, kill me. But a man who cannot live with dignity no longer desires to stay in this world. I have endured countless times, but your conscience has never awakened. When it comes to helping the people live in peace, you have no ability. But when it comes to harming and oppressing them, your skills are unmatched. If I am to be harmed or killed by you, so be it. Such an end would be a perfect punctuation mark to the journey of a practitioner. In the end, who is rewarded and who is punished will be plain as day. If one dies in reverence of the greatest creator, in reverence of life, in reverence of nature, walking the path of the greatest creator, pursuing truth, kindness, beauty, love, faith, and sincerity, then that is a worthy death. Without divine justice, what's the point of living? If there is divine justice, then the practitioners will surely ascend to heaven. So what is there to fear in death? A practitioner will never seek death, nor engage in self-harm or suicide, because practitioners revere and cherish life. But if death comes in the pursuit of a beautiful life, of joy, freedom, happiness, and the heavenly world, then so be it. There is nothing to fear. Let the barbarians live, if they must, civilized ones may perish. Go on living, like maggots writhing in the filth of the latrine. Here and now, the practitioner declares to the entire universe. A practitioner will never kneel before barbarians, nor ever choose to become a slave to them. Xiefeng is a rooster that lays 3 eggs a day. Xiefeng. July 22, 2025. Since members of our Chanyuan family were arrested by the Linzhou Public Security Bureau 20 days ago, I found myself writing, on average, 3 articles a day. This shows that my energy, essence, and spirit are still brimming with vitality. It turns out what the guide once said is true: our celestial maidens are eternally 18, and our celestial youths remain forever 20. In the material world, there is a universal law: every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The evil regime persecuted the Chanyuan celestials, and in response came 32 swift counterblows, the guide's 32 articles in the Resisting Tyranny series. While these writings may not immediately topple the regime or rescue our celestial brothers and sisters, they will, in the end, uproot the evil from its core. Every executor of tyranny will face judgment. Every minion of the regime who took part in the persecution of Chanyuan celestials will suffer tenfold retribution, for the Chanyuan celestials are the children of the greatest creator, not mere mortals. Those who harm them will pay 10 times the price. Another 32 articles in this Resisting Tyranny series are on their way. Among them, 8 are veiled writings in the form of arrays, summoning the elemental powers of metal, wood, water, fire, earth, and wind, along with divine spirits from every direction. These forces will be mobilized to strike and retaliate against the evil regime, making it pay a heavy spiritual price for its crimes, especially for persecuting the Chanyuan Celestials. All who participated in this persecution are guilty of the banality of evil. In the days to come, they will face inexplicable illnesses, sudden upheavals in their families and careers, and irreversible decline. Many will become beggars. Many will go insane. Many will end their own lives. Many will be imprisoned. Many will be swallowed by the elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and wind. Such is the cost of defiling the children of the greatest Creator. Do not provoke conflict. Live your own lives in peace. How wonderful it would be if the world were filled with harmony and joy. Yet you insist on stirring up trouble when there is no wind, sowing discord within your own walls. Such behavior is beneath contempt. Deep down, the regime knows that Lifechanyuan poses no threat to their power. The Chanyuan Celestials focus on how to ascend to the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, and the Celestial Islands continent of the Elysium world. To them, worldly power, wealth, fame, and position are but fleeting clouds. The guide of Lifechanyuan exists solely to help Chanyuan Celestials become celestial beings, not to pursue worldly power, status, or reputation. And yet, the regime still believes that bees would fight flies over a pile of dung. The spiritual realm and vast vision of the Chanyuan Celestials are far beyond what ordinary minds can grasp. They neither provoke nor disturb others, yet you panic as if facing a powerful enemy. No one competes with pigs for food. If you cannot understand even this simple truth, then the regime's minions are indeed living in darkness, lost in confusion and absurdity. You thought a single strike could destroy Lifechanyuan, crush the faith and spirit of the Chanyuan Celestials. How laughable! Do you believe this is still the China of 1,000 years ago? The internet is flooded with writings, images, and videos about Lifechanyuan and its followers. Can you erase the sea with a broom? Are your arms long enough to cover the sky? You've tried suppressing Chanyuan Celestials for more than a decade. How many have surrendered? Not only have they not retreated, but they now walk the way of the greatest Creator and the path of Lifechanyuan with ever-deepening conviction. You've already failed completely, yet you still believe that brute force will pull clouds from heaven to serve as blankets on your bed. Is that not a delusion? You use the same crude tactics you once used on Falun Gong practitioners against the Chanyuan Celestials. Do you not see how laughable this is? You force them to recite your pre-written repentance letters, guarantees, and denunciations on camera. Most Chanyuan Celestials go along with it, and you think you've won. Let me tell you, they were simply playing with you. Chanyuan Celestials long ago mastered the truth that Dharma has no fixed form, and form has no fixed shape. They are no longer bound by appearances. Whatever you demand, they give. If you want to drink urine, they'll offer it gladly. You feel triumphant, but it is a hollow victory. You think your childish tricks and kindergarten-level thinking can turn Chanyuan Celestials into good people? That's like a pig trying to turn a human into a good pig. Utterly absurd. Go ahead, keep detaining Chanyuan Celestials. Each extra day you imprison them, your sins deepen, and your punishment will double. Don't think you'll escape the reckoning. Take the Linzhou Public Security Bureau for example. Every name, every face, every address and detail is recorded. Where can you run? For every